Jumbo, everyone.
Jumbo.
Let me hear you again. Jumbo.
Jumbo.
Yeah, so much better. You need to be happy that we're live. You guys know how I am. I want to hear the noise.
Right.
This is the first night of Kwanzaa. I want to welcome you to Kwanzaa House. If you have not been here before, welcome. We are going to be here for 6 nights, and the 7th night will be at the Gathering Hope House. Is that correct, Dana?
Yes,
for our 7th night for our Karamu and our program there. I encourage you to come back each night. You'll learn something each night. It's wonderful. It's great to see you all here, and like I said, come back.
Thank you. Okay. We are a cultural religious organization, and therefore we always have scripture. So we're going to do this. And this comes from Deuteronomy, and it is the first fruits. In Africa, the first fruits are celebrated when all the harvest is brought in, and the community gets together because they all did the planting and the weeding and the watering and all that stuff. So they get together and celebrate with a dinner and a big feast. So that's what this is all about. And Deuteronomy 29:10 says, "And now behold, I have brought the first fruits of the land, which thou, O Lord, hast given me. And thou shalt set it before the Lord thy God, and worship before the Lord thy God." So, it's the end of the year. It's getting near the end of the year. We sit back and we look at the things we've done. We take stock. And it's like bringing in our fruits, too. And then we see what can we do better next year. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay. Next, we're going to do the libation statement, and Martha will explain that, and she'll have you listen to it.
It only takes a spark to get a fire going, and soon all those around can warm up in its glowing. That's how it is with God's love. Once you've experienced it, you spread His love to everyone. You want to pass it on. What a wondrous time in spring, when all the trees are budding, the birds begin to sing, the flowers start their blooming. That's how it is with God's love. Once you've experienced it, you want to sing. It's fresh like spring. You want to pass it on. I wish for you, my friend, this happiness that I found. You can depend on Him. It matters not where you are bound. I'll shout it from the mountaintop. I want my world to know the Lord of love has come to me. I want to pass it on. I'll shout it from the mountaintop. I want my world to know the Lord of love has come to me. I want to pass it on. Do all things through Christ who gives me strength. But sometimes I wonder what He can do through me. No great success to show, no glory of my own, yet in my weakness He is there to let me know His strength is perfect when our strength is gone. He'll carry us when we can't carry on. Raised in His power, the weak become strong. His strength is perfect. His strength is perfect. We can only know the power that He holds when we truly see how deep our weakness goes. His strength in us begins when comes to an end. He hears our humble cry and proves again His strength is perfect when our strength is gone. He'll carry us when we can't carry on. Raised in His power, the weak become strong. His strength is perfect. His strength is perfect.
Favorite thing to do is read a story. Do it a lot. A couple questions for you. See if anybody, I'm sure somebody knows the answer to this. I hope someone knows the answer to this. How many days are we celebrating Kwanzaa?
7.
How many principles are there?
7.
How many symbols are there on the table?
7.
Don't count. It's 1, 2, 3. But how many symbols are there?
7.
7. The story that I'm going to read to you is called The 7 Children. And it is found in the book called It's Kwanzaa Time by Linda and Clay Goss. And the illustration, and there's a couple by a young lady named Ashley Bryan. And ironically, the number 7 is the number of children they have. It reads, I am going to tell you a story about a family. The people in this story do not have names, but do not worry about that because this is an old story based on an Aesop fable. In Aesop's tale, we listen to what is going on and what is being said, rather than what names the characters have and where they are. Aesop tells us many things about ourselves, and that is why the fables have been passed down and handed from parents to children, and from their children to their children, going from country to country, each telling, reflecting the teller's culture. Telling fables in the home brings the family closer together. That is what Umoja, unity, is all about. That is what this Aesop fable is all about, and so I pass it on to you. The 7 Children, Umoja, illustration by Ashley Bryan. A farmer and his wife had 7 children. Now folks, the neighboring farms were always telling them how well blessed they were to have such fine, healthy children. But sometimes, the farmer and his wife didn't feel quite so lucky, because the 7 children constantly argued and fought with each other. They yelled and screamed at the top of their voices. They threw stools and bowls across the rooms. Sounds of screams and things crashing into walls could be heard all day, and sometimes even all night. At supper time, when the family gathered at the table, the 7 children made faces at one another and kicked at each other's feet. There was no peace in the farmer's home. One evening, for supper, the farmer's wife cooked everyone's favorite meal, chicken and dumpling stew. She placed a big pot of stew in the middle of the long table and announced, it's time to eat. The farmer and the 7 children rushed to the table as they always did and blessed the food. Slowly, the mother served the farmer his bowl of stew. The farmer served a bowl of stew to his wife. None of the 7 children would wait their turn for a bowl of stew. They grabbed the pot, yanked it this way and that, and it flung it to the wall. All the delicious-looking chicken dumplings spilled out onto the floor. The farmer pounded on the table and shouted, enough is enough! Clean up the mess you have made and go to bed. The 7 children began to cry and blame one another. Later that night, the farmer and his wife couldn't sleep. I'm worried about our children, said the wife. They are certainly a wild bunch, but I believe buried in their hearts is kindness, said the farmer. You are right, my dear husband, but we need a way to dig up that treasure buried beneath their hearts, said the wife. Excuse me. Early the next morning, the farmer woke up each of the 7 children. Hurry and do your chores. Children, we are going for a journey through the woods, said the farmer. The 7 children were full of anticipation. They loved walking through the woods. Quickly, they did their chores and ran to the table to eat their morning meal. But instead of finding 7 bowls of hot rice, they saw 7 neatly tied bundles lying on the table. Where's our food? Asked the 7 children. It's time to go on our journey, said the father. We will eat fruits and berries along the way. Oh, goody, shouted the children. "And take these bundles with you," said their mother. "Don't open them now. You will need them later." She gave each of the 7 children a bundle and a hug, and so off they went. Sound familiar? The farmer led his 7 children through a part of the forest that was unfamiliar to them. There were no clear-cut walkways. They saw one fruit tree, but it bore very little fruit. They saw only one sweet berry bush, but it was surrounded by a thicket of thorns. Mosquitoes buzzed around their ears, snakes glided across their path. They walked all day long. When they came to a clearing, the farmer and his 7 children stopped to rest. The farmer said to them, "My dear children, I must return home at once. There is something I want you all to find. When you have it, you will be able to return home." "But, Father," said one of his 7 children, "the sun is going down." The father said no more and walked away. "What shall we do now?" said one of his 7 children. "I will decide because I'm the oldest," said the oldest child, "but I'm the smartest." "I should decide what we should do," said the child next to the oldest child. "I'm hungry," said the child before the child in the middle. "I'm thirsty," said the child in the middle. "I'm scared," said the child after the child in the middle. "My legs hurt," said the child next to the youngest child. "I want to go home," said the youngest child, and he cried as loudly as he could. The 7 children began arguing over which direction to take and what should be done next and who should be doing it. One of the 7 children claimed that he knew what their mother and father wanted them to find, but he wasn't going to tell you. Each of the 7 children was curious about what was in the other's bundles, but no one wanted to share the contents with anyone else. Finally, each of the 7 children ran off into the woods in a different direction, hoping to get away from the others as far as possible. When she was safely away, the oldest child opened up her bundle and found 2 flint stones. The child next to the oldest child opened up his bundle and found kindling, bits and pieces of dry sticks and twigs. One of the 7 children found a net made of tiny strings in its bundle. Another one of the children unfolded a large quilted blanket that was inside her bundle. The middle child discovered a canteen of water in her bundle. The child next to the youngest child had a bundle wrapped within a bundle within a bundle. Inside the last bundle, she saw a loaf of banana bread. The youngest child was very confused because he had found a piece of cloth in his bundle. Something was drawn on the cloth, but he could not tell what it was because the woods had become dark and strange sounds could be heard. The youngest child screamed out in terror. The other children, fearing that their brother was in danger, ran through the woods to help him. Then he showed them what he had found in his bundle. "We will need to make a fire with my flintstones so we can see what is on the piece of cloth," said the oldest child. "I will help you, my sister. I have some kindling," said the child next to the oldest child. After that, they made the fire. They set the net up like a tent so the mosquitoes wouldn't bite them. They passed the canteen around so each of them could drink water. The child next to the youngest child gave each of her brothers and sisters a piece of banana bread. They looked at the piece of cloth and realized it was a map, showing them how to get home. Feeling somewhat better, they lay under the blanket and went to sleep. The next morning, the 7 children woke up. They felt strong and happy. They were glad that they had stayed together and were able to make it through the night without harm coming to any of them. The 7 children followed the directions on the map and returned home to the woods safely. The farmer and his wife were pleased to see their children. Holding hands, they formed a family circle and gave thanks to their Creator. Then the children told their mother and father how each one of their brothers and sisters had shared what was in their bundles. "Oh, children, did you find the thing your dear mother and I wanted to find?" "Yes, Father," said the oldest of the 7 children. "Together we used what we had been given and found our way out of the forest. We found unity." The youngest of the 7 children spoke up. "Yes, but we also found Mother's delicious banana bread." The father, mother, and all the children laughed. The father looked around at his family, enjoying each other and feeling happy that they were together again. He said, "We are together as family. This is our strength. Together we have unity." On behalf of this story, I have a little piece of banana bread for each of you.
The things on the table, the Kanara, which is a candle holder, and it includes the Mushima Saba, the 7 candles, the corn, and all this is part of the celebration. Usually when we do, we're supposed to light the white candle first, and that's for African American people, whether they're in Europe, Brazil, or wherever. And then we go left to right, red, green, one each night until they've all been lit on the last night. We're going to start now with emojis. So on the count of 3, I want to hear everybody say emoji. 1, 2, 3.
Mojo.
Okay, unity. Okay, I think Tati's supposed to light it. She's grinning. She's done this before, so she's no hand there. Very good, Tati. Thank you. Okay, once again. 1, 2, 3. Emoji. Unity. Okay, and our speaker for the night is Sister Dana. She's going to give us the presentation.
Here this time. Oh, we stand over there. I want to try this side. My presentation is unity. And that's part of creativity from, I think, when you and Rachel were doing creativity. Okay, First Community Interfaith Institute of Ohio is a wonderful example of unity. The first principle of Kwanzaa. The 4 components of FCII combined offer a holistic approach to meeting the needs of the people that we serve in our community. The 4 components are 1, African American culture, 2, spiritual development, 3, urban ministry, and 4, Coptic education. The African American cultural programs were designed by the founders to uplift and inspire African Americans and the community. They are shared with all people in the community. We can see by the principles of Kwanzaa, and they're all up here: unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith, that all people can use and benefit from these principles. The FCII Festival brings all people from all nationalities and faiths together to live, learn, work, and play during the 4 days of events. Now we have the spiritual development programs, one of which is Family Worship Hour, encourages people to seek God's face in everything they do. Also, the Harvest Festival and FCI's Clothing and Food Ministry links people who need served with people who can supply the needs. Now, the third component, the urban ministry. The urban ministry programs were designed to reach out to people in the community to build strong individuals and families, and to enable them to serve Jesus Christ by giving them tools and skills to solve spiritual and social issues that they face day to day. These programs, anger management, impulse control, and social awareness skills class, the job training program for the poor and the homeless, and also the Business Support Network, which we call BSN, to name a few. They offer resources, information, support, and emergency services. The urban ministry gives to the community a sense of building protective environments, which produces success. Some yearly urban ministry events are the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Workshop and Festival, the Freedom Display. Now we have the 4th component, the Coptic education. Coptic education is a flow of information from First Community Interfaith Institute of Ohio to the community so that they can know how to address critical problems in the community with the use of different venues. For example, FCII's Jordan Battle News Update. It's a quarterly publication, and it connects services in the community to people who need the services. People in the community from different agencies and organizations put their ads and articles in the newsletter. So it's a good network for everybody. FCII skills training workshops and forums allow people to stay up to date with new technology in any given field. And to conclude, the arrangements of the 4 components into a holistic approach to meet the needs of people in our community is, to me, unity.
know the procedure, which is good because when I'm gone, they can keep it going. But they just reminded me that I needed to say to you Habari Gani, which is what the news. You heard them, didn't you? So I'm going to say Habari Gani, which is the greeting for what's the news, and afterward I'd like for you to say Umoja Unity. Habari Gani.
Umoja Unity.
One more time. Habari Gani.
Umoja Unity.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rachel. So like I said, it's good to keep it going. Okay, we'd like to thank everybody that participated tonight. We invite you to come back tomorrow night and the next 5 nights at 6 o'clock. And then on the 7th night, which is going to be January 1st, it'll be 6 to 8. We have our karamu, and if you come, please do. Bring a little dish with you. It doesn't have to be anything big, but bring something with you and join us for the food. And we're now going to have Minister Evans come up and give remarks.
Hey, we have a lot of things to do tonight. You enjoy the program?
Yes.
Okay. If you say no, then I have to sing, you know. So you really did me wrong. Because I wouldn't say no, then I can say, but I'm going to say, take me to the king. But I won't do
Oh, no, we enjoy it. We enjoy it.
Okay. Here's the thing. We have 2 websites, www.FCII.ohio.org, and we have a new one, www.Business Support Network, BSN, Ohio.org. Now, what we need is pictures of our first annual bunch. So if you have pictures, send it to the email, and we can put it on the Facebook and the other Facebook we have for BSN. Now, we were talking. Vernon, Dana, myself were talking, and we need someone to take over the BSN Facebook. Now, I said I know the person that I want to do that. And I know I'm not going to give her a chance to volunteer because I know she will. So, you know, because I know she do a good job. And so the job that she's going to do is take over the BSN Facebook. Let's give her a feel. That way, Vernon already have started working on it, and he got tired of it. He said, it's just too much stuff. So you can go, you can get with Vernon, and he will give you the password and whatever they do on that kind of stuff. So it's okay. I know how to cut it on and cut it off. The next thing is that we are having a collection tonight. Now you can say, why are you collecting money for Kwanzaa? Well, we're not collecting money for Kwanzaa. We're not collecting money for Minister Evans. It's for a BSN program, Business Support Network. We done raised already about $2,000. Our goal is to raise $200,000 by this time next year. So every chance I get, I'll be on my knees begging for money. Because we have the one business that we are going to start up sometime in November. We have started about 8 businesses already, but this one is going to be substantial. And so we are really working on it. So I'm going to pass this around. If you have money, give it. If you don't have it, you can't give, right? So if you have money, pass this around, and you can put some money in there. Okay? Now, what is BSN? Someone asked me that. Somebody asked me what is BSN. Gary, what is BSN?
What is BSN?
Okay. It is a business support network that homeless, we got a long way to go, but we can do that. Okay? The next thing is that tomorrow until Tuesday, we'll be in Knesset House at 7 o'clock for Kwanzaa. But the last night, we want to give you a lot of room so you can eat and breathe. We know you want to lick your finger a little bit. So we allow you, we might see you. So you lick your fingers here. You might see you lick your fingers, but down home country eating. They're called potluck. P-O-T. You be lucky with what you get, but it be potluck. And we're gonna have some good food. I know people in here like to cook and like to eat. So we're gonna have a good time. And that's gonna start at 6 o'clock at Guy and Hope House. Now, everybody know what Guy and Hope House is? What by apples. What by apples and mark. So if you don't bring any food, that's where we're gonna be going. Apples and mark. Okay? So we're gonna do that. Now, after that, on the 14th, for Martin Luther King musical, which is going to be at Sheffield Lake Library, we're going to have some entertainment, people singing, like Phil and Martha and Rachel and Daniel and Phoebe. We're going to sing, and I'm going to give you my special song I'm working on. It's going to be really good. And also, a young man who I'm not going to mention his name, but he's going to be directing the song that we're going to sing, Blessed Assurance. And that's fabulous. Then on the 18th, we are going to go to the Miller Room in the Louis Public Library on West River. That's by the mall, right? Yep. So everybody knows the mall is. And we are going to have Roger Smith. He owns a business. He owns a cleaning business. And he's been helping us a lot with our business support network. And Roger Smith is a featured speaker for that day. And he can tell stories. You think I can tell stories? Roger can tell you some stories. Can he? You know him? He can tell you stories, make you want to cry. So he's going to tell you how he got started. How he walked into the turnpike with no money and walked out with $10 million cleaning business. From Toledo all the way past Youngstown. That's how he didn't have any money whatsoever. And if you tell that story, it make you want to cry. So we are going to really like that. Then on that Wednesday, the next Wednesday, we have a workshop. And the workshop is going to be about, are you doing God's business or are you doing the devil's business? That's the workshop going to be. Are you doing God's business or the devil's business? And that's going to be good. And then for Black History Month, we're going to do something really unique. It's different. People are going to be talking about it for years and years to come. We're going to build a display outside of African American history display. It's going to be really good. So when people go by, it's going to be a display about what we do for African American history. Now, ask me, why do we celebrate African American history?
Why do we celebrate African American history?
Okay, good question. Because we do have a history. We do have a past to remember. We didn't all come over as slaves. Some of us come over as, I'm so egotistic. I'm so. Look at all the people in here. They're better looking than I am. Isn't that good? We don't have no ugly people in here. Because when you walk through the door, if you're ugly, when you walk out, you're beautiful. We may not be able to do like a guy on TV and kill people, but we can change their look, appearance. We can make a lot of money that walk into Vanessa's house and you be beautiful. You won't need any of them new wigs and new teeth. You be beautiful from what? Inside out.
Yes.
Isn't that good? And when you're beautiful from the inside out, you walk. Yeah, I'm something. Yeah. You can look at the man in the mirror and say, oh, who is that? Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the most beautiful of all? And the mirror says, you're looking at me. So, tomorrow night, let's all come back and bring somebody, because we want to have that room filled back there, and we want to put that mic on, and that room filled over there. We just want to have a good time, you know, celebrating Kwanzaa. Because you know what I keep going to say? Fox News called me today. Didn't they call me today? Said he won't be here. I said, it's going to be good. And the Fox News guy said, but we'll be there. You know, but Fox News, I guess they got lost. I mean, no, Cleveland Street is hard to find. so they probably come next week, you know.
Have the maps next year.
Yeah, but if they find out I'm conservative, they'll be here. Okay. Any questions? Everybody sung so beautiful. I didn't have to sing. Give my hand. Everybody sung so beautiful. Wasn't it good? I was telling my toes not to move, but it was moving anyway. And Martha read that story about them bad kids. Could I identify them? Man, we want to thank everybody that participated. Also, let's give hands to our guest of honor today. We have someone from the Chronicle Telegram. Come up here, young man. Because some of you want to be a reporter one of these days. So I want you to tell us who you are.
Hi, Evan Goodnow from the Chronicle Telegram, and this is Ray Rydell, who's a photographer. We're going to be having a story about the event in, I guess, Thursdays. Wait a minute, today's Thursday, Friday's edition. Sorry about that. The days kind of mix into one another after a while, you know what I mean?
Now, if anybody wants to be a reporter, talk to him. Because you know, a reporter is a hard job.
It is a hard job.
Very hard job. Okay? You got to put up with people like me.
No, you're fine. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Also, we have Mr. Grayson. He's here tonight. Will you stand, Mr. Grayson? He's back there.
Oh, good.
Made it good.
And Pastor Dickinson is here.
Yeah,
And my friend back there, I forget your name, but Keith, yeah, Keith. Keith was here. Let's give him all. Keith for him. Come back tomorrow night and have a good time. If you can sing, dance, or whatever, you're welcome to come. Yeah, you want to? You know what's so awesome? Tell you a story. Once upon a time, this man, he was white. And so he wanted to be black so bad. And so he went to the elder. And so the elder said, you know what, I want to be black. And the elder said to him, you can be black. He said, you see this man? George Washington Carver? Yeah. So you see this man? Benjamin Davis? Oh, man, he's getting lighter and lighter. So see this man, Powell? Wow! See what he like? See, guess what? See this man? Yeah, that's my daddy. See, he was black. So, no, you won't be black, but you have an understanding of your black brothers and sisters, and you'll be able to be humane, regardless of what color you are. You be beautiful. You definitely gonna be beautiful. Okay, let's all stand. Okay, how many Harambes?
One.
Okay. Harambe! Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for
That
coming.
means let's pull together.
Let's pull together. Okay.
There are some refreshments in the room.
Libation statement, and actually,
I got it.
Sister Ruth, okay, that's what it says down here.
I'm going to stand over here so I don't call over everybody and take up 35 minutes getting around. So, the libation statement, just for those of you who aren't familiar with Kwanzaa, this might be your first time. Libation statement is basically, the libation statement is a way of remembering and honoring our ancestors, and also a heartfelt request for peace, prosperity, and harmony for the new year. And the Kwanzaa celebration is basically one where you try to bring out the best and to keep it going. Now, there are libation statements in here. 2 years ago I wrote my own, and I haven't been, well, brave enough to read it, but I'm going to try it tonight, so bear with me. We'll see how this goes. Our past is tied to Africa, our motherland. Our ancestors were kings, queens, warriors, farmers, slaves, teachers, Underground Railroad conductors and passengers, ministers, sharecroppers, doctors, nurses, college professors, newspaper men and women, and on and on. We honor their memory and their determined, unwavering spirit. Our present is the Unified States of America and beyond, United States of America and beyond. We will try to persevere and diligently continue to move ourselves, our families, and our friends and our communities toward a future of posterity and the greatest good for our nation. We must continue to hold our children, our youth, in the forefront of our quest, for they are and will be the future of our people. The Ngusa Saba must be instilled in our hearts, minds, and souls so that the principles can positively shape our lives. In our people, may the hope of and faith in the Creator never flicker or become extinguished. As a people, may we continue to pull together. Harambe.
This time, what we're going to do is we're going to think of someone that has been very, very important to us. Whether it's a loved one, whether it's somebody you looked up to, whether it's someone you looked up to and you love them as well. Someone in your family, whether it's a good friend, you're going to think of them, you're going to call their name and make a sipping gesture, and then you're going to pass the cup. This is called the Unity Cup, or the Kakobi Cha Umoja. So we're going to start. We started yesterday on this side, but I do believe we're going to start from north this way. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to go this way.
Start there.
My Uncle Bill Henderson. My sister.
My father, James Battle.
My mother, Pam.
My cousin Kayla. My cousin Wyatt. My great grandma.
My sister-in-law, Jerry.
My son's Trent and Harlow.
My cousin Geraldine's family.
My girl.
My grandma.
My daughter Addison.
My mother, Glass Evans.
My story for tonight represents self-determination. Maybe not in the way that you want to represent self-determination if you want to be a friend, but it's a funny story. It's about a rabbit, Brer Rabbit, and his friend Tiger. And what it says is Rabbit's horse. The most outrageous scheme is okay with Rabbit if it will get him what he wants. And you know, when you want something, you got to determine that you have to work at it to get it. And sometimes we're determined to get something and we don't need it, and sometimes we're determined to get something and, you know, it's what we need. Well, you make the decision yourself. What do you think of this story? A very long time ago, Rabbit and Tiger were best friends. But when they discovered that they both were courting the same young lady, they became very jealous of each other. Well, you know, Rabbit, always looking to get the advantage. One day, he goes over to the young lady's house and, as usual, starts bragging on himself and telling her that Tiger wasn't anything but his father's old riding horse. A little later, Tiger stopped by to call on his girl, and he thought was his sweetheart. But she said, "Go on now. How can you just come along courting when I just heard you are nothing but an old riding horse?" "What?" said Tiger. "Whoever told you such a thing is making up stories about me and filling your head with big lies. Tell you what I'll do. I'll go straight to my friend Rabbit, and he'll tell you that all this is just nonsense. I never had been his father's old riding horse." So Tiger took up his walking stick, walking just as respectfully as he can. He goes straight to Rabbit's house. He found Rabbit lying there on his bed, moaning with fever. So he lifted the latch and called out, "Brer Rabbit! Brer Rabbit!" Rabbit heard him just fine, but he answered with a real soft, sick light, "Brer Tiger, is that you calling me?" He knew that Tiger was going to be mad at him, you know. Tiger said, "Yes, it's me. I came right over to your house because someone has been telling lies about me, and I wanted to find out if it was you. I want to hear it from your own mouth. If you said those things, I'm going to make you prove it." "Oh," Rabbit groaned. "Can't you see I have a fever? My stomach is hurting me bad, and I've just been to the doctor and taken some medicine." "Is that so? I don't believe you." "I just swallowed 2 pills, Brer Tiger. So how do you think I could ever get up and go to any lady's yard and prove anything tonight?" "I don't want to have an argument," said Brer Tiger, "but I think you better come with me anyway and tell that lady tonight that I am not your father's old riding horse." "Oh, Lord," cried Rabbit. "The pain in my chest just won't let me. But if you insist, I'll try to go with you even if I'm feeling sick." Then Tiger said, "Well, since you're sick, maybe I could help you get there. How can I help?" "Well, just lift me up a little and I'll see how I feel," said Rabbit. So Tiger lifted him up and Rabbit said, "Oh, Lord, I'm feeling dizzy." "Don't worry," said Tiger. "Just grab my neck and I'll carry you on my back." But Rabbit insisted he couldn't get up at all. And every time that Tiger lifted him, he just fell back into bed. Finally, Rabbit looked up and said, "Why don't you get the saddle in the rafters and put it on, and I could maybe grab hold of that and you could carry me." So Tiger took down Brer Rabbit's saddle. "Now just put on your back, brother," said Brer Rabbit, "and I can sit down soft." Rabbit got in the saddle and then got his bridle and the reins. "Hey," said Tiger, "what are you going to do with that?" Brer Rabbit said, "If you just put that through your mouth, brother, then I can tell if you're going too fast so I won't fall off." "All right then, put it on," said Tiger. Next, Rabbit took out his whip. "Hey," said Tiger, "what are you going to do with that?" "If a fly comes on your ear or back, brother, I'll be able to take his whip and lick it off."
Once there was a beautiful young woman who many wanted to have as a wife. The young woman's admirers came from near and far just for the chance to marry her. One of these admirers was Sundew, the red antelope. Sundew traveled to the young woman's village, where he announced to everyone that he was looking for a wife. All of the villagers thought the handsome Sundew would make a good husband, and they said to him, "We have just the right wife for you." Sundew spent the night in the village with hopes of meeting the young woman. When morning arrived, the young woman came to meet Sundew. After they talked for a while, she told him, "Go and get me some honey." Off went Sundew. He found a honey tree, cut a long vine, and tied it to the tree. Sundew started to climb up towards the honey, but it was a long, long way. As big and as strong as Sundew was, he could not reach it. I'm not a teacher, so I can't read that way. Finally, Sundew gave up and returned to the village. The villagers said, "What kind of animal are you that you cannot even give your wife-to-be some honey? You are not fit to be her husband. Go, Get out of here. So Sundu left and went back to his camp where he told his sad story. Boloko, the ape, listened and thought, I need a wife, and I am strong and handsome. I am sure that I will win the affection of this young woman. Boloko headed straight to the village. I hear you have a beautiful young lady here, he said. I know she will be very interested in marrying me. That night, Boloko waited in the village with hopes of meeting the young woman. After they met the next morning, she said to him, I want some honey. Go and find some for me. So Boloko went out into the woods, cut a big wood vine, and fixed it to the tree where the honey was. But when he started to climb toward the honey, he found it was much, much higher than he thought. As hard as he tried, Boloko could not reach the honey. Finally, Boloko came back down without the honey. He returned to the disappointed villagers, who said to Boloko, What kind of animal are you that you can't even bring your wife to be some honey? Go away right now. A little mouse named Makatua lived in the same camp as Sundu and Boloko, and he had heard all about the young woman. He thought about how much he would like someone like her to be his wife. When little Makatua arrived in the village, not one villager laughed. In fact, they were very kind to him. That night, the mouse waited in the village for a chance to meet the young woman. The next morning, the young woman and the mouse met. Before the young woman could make her demand, Makatua told her, I will go and get you some honey. Makatua went to the forest and found a tall tree filled with honey. He cut a vine, tied it to the tree, and climbed up. The mouse worked hard to dig out all of the honey there was and then brought it down. Makatua took the honey back to the village. Ah, said the villagers. Finally, here's someone who can get the honey for the woman he wants to marry. The villagers were very happy that the mouse showed he could take care of both himself and the young woman. Makatua is the husband we want for her, shouted all the villagers. And so it went that not the fine red antelope, nor was it the handsome ape, but it was the little mouse who earned the affection of the beautiful young woman. The young woman decided that she did in fact want to marry Makatua. The next day, Makatua and the young woman were married. On the joyous day, Makatua knew he had learned the lesson of his life. If he believed in himself, took chances, and did his best work, he would be rewarded in more ways than he could ever imagine. Makatua and his new wife lived very happily, and all the villagers were very pleased. The end.
One of them was a teacher, was the first civilian to go into space. Another was another mission specialist, was a lady. There was an Asian American aboard, and there's a man I'm going to talk a minute about, Ronald McNair aboard, and 3 Caucasians, and they all lost their lives in the blink of an eye. Ronald McNair came up in a time when, he was born in 1950.
Talking about McNeil, he even brought his life to the table, and through that sacrifice of his life, to him, going up in space was what he wanted to do, and he paid the price. So you have to be willing to pay the price, whatever you want to do. I mean, this world is not an easy world to live in. Everybody's elbowing you at the table. And you have to understand that. That's part of life. Everybody's not going to like you, and everybody's not going to hate you. And so you don't concern about who hate you. You're concerned about people that are going to work with you. And sometimes smiling faces, like that song says, smiling faces sometimes turn to
no traces of the evil that lurks within.
Right. The shadow, you know. Things down. So we have to understand we cannot work by burning our things down psychologically. That's what we do sometimes. We need to burn things down. And you have to be very careful what you do, what you say, how you say it. Those things is not what you say. It's how you say it. And people listen to the tone of your voice. And so as we go through Kwanzaa, I hope that you will understand how you say it. It's so important. And then on last night, we had the cow move. It'll be at God and Hope House. And we will have the last day with Amani, which is faith, with Brother Grayson will be speaking. I want everybody to know, Brother Grayson, you stand up so we can see you. Okay. And he also was a teacher too. I mean, we got a lot of teachers in this room. A lot of teachers. So but that's common for African Americans to be teachers. That's the only way they feel they were allowed to go into. So we have to understand that. And still, as always, so then we have something important that we have is the Martin Luther King program that we have. I know Roger called me to make sure that everything was ready for the first New Year's. Well, we're going to ask people to give money. That's how you do it. You ask people to give money. You bathe. You don't borrow. You work for it. You don't steal it. some people, the Kennedys was good at making money.
Stealing.
But they did it about doing prohibition.
They talking about my family.
I'm sorry.
My family's from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Talking about my
Showing
family.
the door.
So they were good at making that good Baptist whiskey.
That's great.
And so, I know the reporter was trying to get me on, trying by crime, he tried to get me on that, but I ain't really turned about on it. But one thing that we understand, that we want to be legal. Okay, what we do is legal, above board, because people are going to look at it with a fine-tooth comb. Whatever you do in life, I hate to say it, but if you are a black person, or you have black friends, they are going to put that fine-tooth comb on you. They're going to try to find something wrong. I know Denny always tell people that if you're looking for dirt, go in the back garden, there's a lot of dirt there. And people come looking for dirt. Now if they find it, they find it because they look for it. But don't give them anything because they're not fine. Don't be the target and give a person a bullet and give them the gun for them to shoot at you. That's what we do sometimes, don't we? So it's important. We have yesterday we were looking for someone to take over I guess you call it Facebook. I always call it Spacebook, but I don't know why. But
you're putting two different things together there.
There's
MySpace and Facebook.
Facebook, yeah.
All together.
Well, Facebook not done yet. It's still under construction. But what he needs is some pictures from the bunch for the fundraiser. And so, if anybody got very good, very good. There are always a way to work anything out. Okay. Now, what we're going to do now is that before we close, we're going to take a collection of. We got $42. No, I'm lying. $43. Because I put it down there myself. $43 for the Business Support Network. The money is going to go to the bank account, which is controlled by the Business Support Network. It's not to the First Community Institute. It's a separate fund. Pictures was on the front page.
Oh yes.
And she's a lot better looking than I am, but she looked like me. So it was really good. He couldn't come back.
Plate.
The plate.
So let's give Martha a hand. it was on the front page, which is good. Also on the journal there was an article about the Kwanzaa on the front page too. So it was pretty good. Okay, so it was pretty good. And we want to thank Vernon for really working with Dana and other people with the publicity. Dana and Vernon and other people really work hard on the publicity. And if you've seen the news release, it was really great. So I want to thank all the people involved in that.
It's just good to see something positive on the front page.
Yeah.
In color.
Thank
some not something people robbed or killed somebody and pictures plastered on the front page. It's good to see something positive. I was glad to see a picture on the front page.
When he came to me with a question, and he was very knowledgeable about Ron Carino. So he comes with a negative. He came to me and asked me why did Ron Carino go to jail for assault. So what I did was I said, okay, let's use that for good. If someone gives you mud, I know you all was kids. Probably kids don't do that, but I know what people do when you used to make mud pot. And then your mother would say, "Oh, this is good."
Delicious.
So it's delicious. So what I did was I frame it so that it would be positive.
Okay.
Most of the great men and women have spent their time in prison.
Right.
And even our founding fathers, they were traded by England. England had warrant out for all the founding fathers arrest. And so just because you go to jail don't mean you're guilty.
Right.
So from that point, we welcome. When someone gives you a lemon, they say they make lemonade. Someone gives you an apple, you make applesauce. If someone gives you an egg, you make eggnog. So whatever people give you in life, whether it be negative or positive, you gotta know how to use it for the positive manners. So God make all things, right? He make all things. And man used fire to either to heat or to burn down their building. That's how you use it. So it's important that we know how to use it. So we just want to thank all of you for coming. Come back tomorrow night. We like to see people come in. We like to see people come in and learn. And it's good to allow kind of spontaneity to happen. Okay, because it's important. Because they say that inspiration many times is not a lot of might. Sometimes it's done by just opportunity, just using what you got and just using it to better your cause, whatever you want to do. There was a guy who, in Germany, he flunked math class. It was going to throw him out of math class. Out of school. It was going to throw him out of school because he couldn't do math, they said. The man's name is Einstein. So we know. So we say, I'm going to try to fool you. Okay?
Harambe. Harambe.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to this place at this time. Thank you for your time. We ask you to bless us and keep us.
Get this. Hold on for a minute.
Good evening. Jumbo is Swahili for hello, in case you're wondering what the word is that lady saying. Let's try that again. Jumbo.
Jumbo.
Okay. Martha, you want to come up and give the welcome, please?
Repeat after my mom. Jumbo.
Jumbo.
Ooh, a little louder. Jumbo.
Jumbo.
Oh, that's much better. We should all be glad that we're here and walking, talking, singing, praises, whatever we need to do. Okay, the welcome. I'd like to welcome you to the mess house, the fourth night of Kwanzaa, which is Ujamaa. It is collective work and cooperative economics. I'll give it all the time. Either I get the Swahili word right or I'll get the English word right. Never both. But anyway, thank you for coming, and I hope you have a good time.
Amen.
I have to have the scripture.
David says that.
Okay, no, that's good. She can do it.
Behold, I have brought the first fruits of the land, which you, O Lord, have given me. Then you shall set it before the Lord your God, and worship before the Lord your God.
For those of you who might be new to Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa is not typically, wasn't set up as a religious celebration, although the last principle is Imani. The Lord knows we can't get anywhere without God. But it's a cultural celebration. And although it was started a long time ago by Milana Karenga in 1966, and at the time it was basically to get blacks to get themselves together and be productive, it spread across the United States and across the world. And the principles are ones that everybody can use to make themselves and their country better. So that's where we are with it. The libation statement is next. And basically, it is a salute to the ancestors. None of us got here by ourselves. We came here on other people's shoulders. And this is a time to remember someone that was important to you and your family, or someone that is historical that had an impact on you. And what we usually do, see, I think you got the libation statement. Yeah, you do. You need one. Yeah. Can't see that, please. Thank you. They're the papers, you can choose any of those in there. Basically, when she's through reading it, we're going to pass the unity cup around, which is the Kukumbe Chara Moja, and it just means unity cup, and we say the name of a person that was very dear to us. It's said that as long as you say the person's name, they're not forgotten.
The edges of the year have met. I pray for the life for the people. May the nation prosper. May the children be many. May food come forth in abundance. May no illness come. May the people grow to be old men and women. May no misfortune fall upon the land, and for anyone who wishes evil on the people, may misfortune fall on his own head.
Okay, we're going to start over here.
This is the rose. Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. And some say love, it is a razor that leaves the soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower, and you its only seed.
While I'm saying, I need you to help me. While I'm saying, I need you to help me. Help me on my journey, help me on my way, yeah. Oh, Lord, I need you to help me. Oh, Lord, I need you to help me. Oh, Lord, I need you to help me. Help me on my journey, help me on my way, yeah. Oh, Lord, I need you to help me.
Flowers. Tortoise damped the cloth across, draped the cloth across his shoulders, and strode flowerly through the marketplace. The honey gathered bees and saw Tortoise's cloth. They thought the flowers were real. They buzzed around the tortoise cloth. I just lost the place. Alright, there it is. Stinging his shoulder and tearing the cloth. Tortoise became very upset and said, "The sweet potato man gave me his sweet potatoes for my hard-earned money, but the goat ate all my sweet potatoes. The goat herd gave me his fresh milk, so I wouldn't eat the goat. But the pet monkey drank all my fresh milk, and the fabric lady gave me beautiful cloth, so I wouldn't eat her pet monkey. But you, bees, tore my pretty cloth, so now I will eat you." The honey gathered cried out, "Please, Tortoise, don't take our bees. They make tasty honey. We will give you a pot full of it." Tortoise agreed to take the pot of honey, and he tied the pot of honey around his waist. Tortoise continued walking through the marketplace. He passed by an eggman stall, and he was feeding seeds to his chickens. Some of the seeds scattered around Tortoise's feet, and the chickens ran in front of him. Tortoise fell down and rolled this way and rolled way onto the seeds. He was covered from head to toe with dusty honey and seeds. The chickens pecked at him, causing him and the pot to roll onto the river. When the tortoise swam out onto the river, his honey was all gone. He was very upset, and he said, "Sweet potato man,
Sweet Potato Man gave me sweet potatoes for my hard-earned money, but the goat ate all of my sweet potatoes. The goat herd gave me fresh milk so I wouldn't eat his goat, but the pet monkey drank all of my fresh milk. The fabric lady gave me her pretty cloth so I wouldn't eat her pet monkey, but the honeybees tore my beautiful cloth, and the honey gatherers gave me tasty honey so I wouldn't eat their honeybees. But you chickens threw my tasty honey into the river, so now I will eat you. The Eggman cried out, "Please, Tortoise, don't eat my chickens. I will give you 3 brown eggs." Tortoise agreed to take the eggs. He placed them carefully inside his shell and continued walking through the market. He passed by a stall containing baskets of all sizes and shapes, and the egg snake slithered from one of the baskets. The egg snake loved eggs as much as the tortoise loved sweet potatoes. He crawled into his shell and began tickling him while Tortoise laughed loudly. Hee 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 hee. The egg snake swallowed each egg whole. Then he spit out the shells. The egg snake loved eggs, but he didn't like the shells. Even though Tortoise was mad, he couldn't stop laughing. Finally, the egg snake crawled out from under Tortoise's shell. Tortoise was very, very upset, and he said, "The Sweet Potato Man gave me sweet potatoes for my hard-earned money, but the goat ate all my sweet potatoes. The goat herd gave me fresh milk so I wouldn't eat the goat. But the pet monkey drank all my fresh milk. So the fabric lady gave me her pretty cloth so I wouldn't eat her pet monkey. But they tore my pretty cloth and the honey gatherers gave me their tasty honey so I wouldn't eat their honeybees. But the chickens threw my tasty honey into the river, and the Eggman gave me 3 brown eggs so I wouldn't eat their chickens. But you, egg snake, you have swallowed 3 eggs, so now I will eat you." The basket weaver cried out, "Please, Tortoise, don't eat my egg snake. I will give you 6 straw baskets." The tortoise agreed and took the baskets. He hurried through the market as fast as his legs could carry him. The Sweet Potato Man saw him and yelled, "Hey, Tortoise, may I see your baskets?" The tortoise was very upset, and he jumped up and down and said, "You, Sweet Potato Man, gave me sweet potatoes for my hard-earned money, but the goat ate all my sweet potatoes. The goat herd gave me fresh milk so I wouldn't eat his goat, but the monkey drank all of my fresh milk, and the fabric lady gave me her pretty cloth so I wouldn't eat her pet monkey. But the honeybees tore my pretty cloth, and the honey gatherers gave me their tasty honey so I wouldn't eat their honeybees. But the chickens threw my honey into the river, and the Eggman gave me 3 brown eggs so I wouldn't eat their chickens. But the egg snake ate my 3 brown eggs, and the basket weavers gave me 6 straw baskets so I wouldn't eat their egg snakes. So now you, Sweet Potato Man, want to take my basket?" "Oh yes," said the Sweet Potato Man. "I can put my sweet potatoes in them, Tortoise, and I will give you 12 of them, 12 of my finest sweet, if you give me your 6 straw baskets." Tortoise carefully agreed to take the sweet potatoes. He went home and baked the big sweet potato pie. What a fantastic day I had at the market, said the tourist, as he ate the slice of pie, as if I had not been for a basket weaver and her egg snake, the egg man and his chickens, the honey gatherer and their honeys, bees, the fabric lady and her pet monkey, the goat herd and his goat, the sweet potato man would have not given me 12 of his finest sweet potatoes to make this sweet potato pie. Taurus went back to the market and shared the sweet potato pie with all of them. The sweet potato man and the goat herd, the fabric lady, the honeybee gatherers, the egg man, and the basket weavers, and Taurus gravely sang a little song. Sweet potato very sweet, sweet potato good to eat, sweet potato sweet potato yum yum.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see.
Yeah, so be proud of yourself. You started it, you finished it, and you worked your way through 9 wild dogs and 1 lion. And you guys know I love my animal stories, sorry. The lion has his own way of dividing equally. One day, 9 wild dogs were on their way to hunt. Before they had gone far, however, they came upon a lion lying in the sun. "Where are you young fellows going?" he said. The dogs hesitated before replying. "We are on a hunt." "On a hunt? Why, let us go together," suggested the lion. The dogs gave one another the worried looks, and then staring out, "Whatever you wish, king of the world." Soon they had caught 10 antelopes. Then the lion said, "Let us find some wise person to come and divide the meat for us." Without thinking, the youngest wild dog remarked, "Well, we are 10, are we not? And we have caught 10 antelopes. Let us each take one." In an instant, the lion was up and with that big rough paw struck the outspoken dog in the face. "No, no," the leader of the pack responded. "I know how to divide the meat. The king of the world is 1, so he should have 9 of the antelopes, and that will make 10. For us, we are 9. If we take 1 of the antelopes, then we will be 10. The lion lifted his tail and strutted about, looking very pleased with this arrangement. "You are a wise dog. When did you learn such wisdom?" "When you slapped my brother," was the truthful reply.
Everybody for their cultural expressions. It's always a treat when people get up and share what they can do with you. And this is wonderful. And this is not a story. This is kind of bringing Kwanzaa down to what I said. It was something I found today when I was looking for things I put away and can't find now, which I hope to find tomorrow. But anyway, this says, Kwanzaa is the poured libation spilled in reverent observation of the past that paved the way for your people here today. Kwanzaa is in Busa Saba, the 7 principles that we harbor, beginning with the unity that makes us strong and helps us see in perspective, proper light, the other 6 that we recite. One day after Christmas comes, we listen to the Kwanzaa drums and celebrate for 7 days our older customs and modern ways. So Kwanzaa is our very own. Since 1966, it's grown from a private observation to one that's shared throughout the nation. This was written quite a while ago by a man by the name of Celeste. I need my glasses, your glasses. but it really brought it right down to home. Okay, we're now going to have the lighting of the candles, and before we do that, we're going to do the Obarigani because I'll forget it if I don't. And our thing tonight is Ujuma'a, and we're right there. Let's see. It's Ujuma'a anyway, if I can see it up there. So I'm going to say Obarigani, which is what's the news in Swahili, and you're going to respond Ujuma'a, cooperative economics. I got it right. Okay. All right. Obarigani. Ujuma'a, cooperative economics. Come on, we make a little bit more noise than that. Obarigani. Ujuma'a, cooperative economics. Okay. All right. We're going to have our candle lighters come up, starting with Tatiana. Everybody here is too. Grace is here.
Grace is next when you go up again.
Okay.
Straight behind your road.
Grace, this is her second time around. She's doing it. Beautiful. Good job, Grace. There you go.
All right, Grayson.
Hey, Mr. Evans, would you help Isaiah like the other? He's done it before last week.
Yeah. Come on, big man. Look here. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Obarigani. Cooperative economics. Okay, and our speaker tonight is Kevin. Brother Kevin.
This is just a short article that I found that's just a different take on cooperative economics. The first thing I found is a quote from Dr. Milana Karinga. It says, "In a world where greed, resource seizure, and plunder have been globalized with maximum technological and military power, we must uphold the principle and practice of Ujamaa, cooperative economics, or shared work and wealth. This principle reaffirms the right to control and benefit from the resources of one's own lands and to an equitable and just share of the goods of the world." So just think about that first while I read this article. The article is from Phaedra Fields. She's an African-American history examiner. According to the Nguza Saba, as written by Milana Karinga, cooperative economics means to build and maintain, the name of the article is Day 4 of Kwanzaa. Ujamaa means cooperative economics or death to the hookup. Like I said, let me know how you feel after I read. According to the Nguza Saba, that's written by Milana Karinga, cooperative economics means to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. Since the 7 principles of Kwanzaa should be implemented all year long, let's talk about how to make that happen. Let's use the analogy of a coin when we talk about cooperative economics. On one side of the coin are black businesses. If we're expected to patronize black businesses must make their products and services affordable and provide us with excellent customer service. Black customers should not have to settle for poor service and higher prices when seeking to support black businesses. The idea that black businesses have to change more just to compete isn't going to cut it when consumers, no matter what their color, are looking for the lowest prices and the best customer support. Black businesses can't compete if they outprice their competition. If black businesses want dollars from black buyers, they're going to have to make it worth our while. Very few black people want to pay 20 to 25% more for a product or service just to say they supported a black business. Many black people do, but they'd rather not have to contend with the markup if we're being truthful. On the other side of the same coin are black consumers. If we expect black business to stay alive and thrive in our communities, we have to stop looking for the hookup. When you get quality, you pay for quality. Black consumers need to expect to pay for what they get, especially when black businesses are offering quality products, services, and customer service. When black businesses say they can't compete without charging more than mainstream businesses, one of the reasons they're saying this is because they have to contend with the help a brother, sister out mentality, which cuts into their profits. Of course, it's not true that all black consumers are looking for the hookup, but there are enough of us out there who are, and it makes it tough for black businesses. The hookup or help a brother, sister out mentalities are not the legacy we should want to pass on to our children. Stopping them is definitely a way to implement cooperative economics. If you haven't read Why I Hate the Hookup by Alfred A. Edmond Jr., a senior vice president at Black Enterprise, now would be an excellent time to do so. In his article, Edmond asserts, one of the biggest drags on black entrepreneurial growth and profitability is the hookup. Black people expecting other black people to provide them with free goods and services just because they're black. We need to stop it. Today, now. Cooperative economics, not just our own. When we seek to benefit while others take the hit, we're not practicing cooperative anything. Happy
You want to be number one in everything you are doing. Now, why do you say that? Be number one? Because the Cleveland Clinic used to say they're number one. But what happened? They got lazy. Now University Hospital number one. because they didn't compete. And they lost to Brown, they lost this, because they got lazy. And as long as they would keep waiting to be number one, while they doing, and it's aquaphone, because they took all the land from the black neighborhood, paid little or nothing for it, and now they're paying the price. And we know that. What's go around, come around. And sometimes when they come around, it's two kind of bites. One time when you bite the dog, that's okay. But when a dog bites you, that's a big bite. So we should understand that. We have some programs coming up, and I really like that article. I'm going to steal that article.
That's really good.
Thank you very much. We have tomorrow night. We have purpose, and we have it here at Knesset House, which is a very important day because it's the 5th day of Kwanzaa, and it's a beautiful day. I love purpose. Who speaks at purpose? Rachel. And Rachel is going to do purpose, and I like that because purpose is you can have unity, but if you don't have a reason why you have unity, then you have no purpose, no goal, no goals, no objectives, and you're not going to go anywhere. Be like an automobile without a motor. It looks good, but you're not going to go anywhere. And then on next night we have creativity, and who's speaking on creativity? Frida. Now she can speak. She can sing, but she can speak too. She's really good. You'll like that. And the last night will be at God and Hope House. Now, you know what God and Hope House is. Hope you all know what God and Hope House. We have a fundraiser, very successful. Rounds are still going around and saying, I don't see how you guys can be organized. You just can't get over it. And they'll call me 4 or 5 times, making sure we don't come. We'll set up the night at 8 o'clock. Then we're going to go over at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m., and we're going to have the calamu. Now, the calamu is the potluck, okay? Now, put something in your pot. Don't be like that. Don't be like that story about the person have a wine, and they all put water in their vessels, and they pour in the pot, and everybody pour water in that pot, and they what they got? Water. Right. So bring some food. Okay. Don't bring those potato chips and Cracker Jacks. Okay. So, I know one time we had Kwanzaa here, and it was really funny. It was about I think it was 1982. And we were having the calamu. And so, they come in here, waiting for the food. I said, where's the food at? I said, what did you bring? Oh, we thought you were going to provide it. I said, it's a potluck. Wow. I said, what's a potluck? I said, whatever you bring, you'll be lucky to get it. So since you can bring anything, you're not lucky. So that's a potluck. Now, the next thing we have, and I'm glad Phoebe is, but the feature singer is Phoebe, right? Remember that? They're going to be in Seffield Lake. Yeah, we're going to go to Seffield Lake now. But make sure you go down Lake Avenue. Don't go to Colorado, go to Lake Avenue. That's the best way to go. We're at Sheffield Lake, and we're going to have a good time. Then on the 18th, we have Roger Smith. He's going to speak. You know, Roger like to tell his story. That's how it's Pentecostal. We'll take it.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
So we're going to take your last, okay? And we will not go when we got $99.90. Who give me the 10? We won't do that. For 10 cents. So we're passing it around, and the collection place is in that pulpit. Thank you. Now, if you have it, please give.
By the way, I'm Pentecostal.
I know. But you don't tell the truth, right? because always during the offering, we have somebody be slain in spirit. You know? And they have somebody left who got a blanket. So nobody will get slain in the spirit today, but we want you to give money. So
start shaking and drooling. It's a
shaking. Okay, so what we want to do is raise, by this time next year, raise about 100. His name was Brother Leon in Warren. Brother Leon, he was standing there, and he was saying, "Are we ready to go yet?" So not yet. We got $100. He said, "Well, before you get out of here, we got to raise another $100." 2 hours later, well, $300. And so they always raise money. If you notice though, the Pentecostals got the best billings. Almost, you know, you go to the Pentecostal place. First they start out with being the Pentecostal of Warren. Then they add on to be the great Pentecostal of Warren. Then they add on to the greater Pentecostal of Warren. and then at the end of it, they be the Pentecostals of the whole world.
I thought that was the Republican Party.
Okay, so we are done today. Right.
Already?
But I really like this article. Let's remember, if you're gonna buy from a business, from a so-called black business, make sure that the products and the produce is quality. You cannot put your blackness in the bank. I mean, you cannot do that. So I really, Kevin, this was a really good article. Man, we've been having some good speakers this season. Haven't it been good?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a hand. That was nice. I won't dare speak now. Okay. Any more announcements? Remember, tomorrow night, we want to have people standing outside, so people can think that we are doing something. We are doing something, but see, when people care about two things in the world: money and numbers. Well, Brother Joe, how many people do you have in your Kwanzaa ceremony? People care about. So we want to have a. And we think that people that bought people, because that's important. Our mission is to. I got a phone call from Las Vegas. A person want to copy the Business Support Network. They want to copy it. I said no. I mean, maybe I'm kind of selfish, narcissistic. You know, maybe I'm kind of mean. But when Ruth and Dana and myself put together the Business Support Network, we didn't make a cookie cutter. Okay, so we're not going to give anything away. Now, you want to copy it? Let's talk about giving us about $10,000.
Really? Put some work in, yeah. That's right. Yes, sir. Right.
Is that right?
That's right, sir.
And we spending more. I know Dana told me one day, Dana really know how to manipulate some things. You know what, Dale? Dana said, well, you know what? The way you run an organization, you'll be out of business with 2010. I said, same Dan. Okay. How many? Four, we're going to say. Okay, four. Now, only four, right?
Harambe. 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 Harambe.
Harambe. You always do the extra one. That's how you do it.
People get ready. There's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage. You just get on board. All you need is space to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord. So people get ready for the train to Jordan. It's picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key. Open up the door and boredom. There's hope for all among those who love the most. There ain't no room for a hopeless sinner who would hurt all mankind just to save his own. Have pity on those whose chances grow thinner, for there's no hiding place against the kingdom's throne. So people get ready, there's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is space to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. Alright. The story is called The Ant and the Pigeon. The stories are a great way to tell a message, tell a lesson, pass down, I can't think of the word I want to use, but to generation history. This one says that an ant is saved by a pigeon and almost immediately returns the favor. One day, an ant found a grain of corn and decided to take it home. He held it very tight and hurried as fast as he could so that nothing would take the grain of corn from him. There was a pond on the way home, but the ant, in his haste, had forgotten about it.
and he fell in, corn and all. The corn slipped from his mouth and went.
They possess inside, give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone to fulfill my needs. A lonely place. So I long to depend on me.
That's good.
When I woke up that Sunday morning, my heart was so heavy and blue. My mama told me to reach for you, but I wasn't sure just what to do. Just pray is what they told me. Leave it in his hands tonight. Just pray through any situation, good or bad, I'll make it out alright. But I don't know how I strayed so far, but I'm asking for your forgiveness. So here I am on bended knee, just like my mama told me. Just pray is what she told me. Leave it in his hands tonight. Just pray through any situation, good or bad, I'll make it out alright.
My presentation is to show that even those who believe they aren't creative, as far as art is concerned, can be proven wrong. I'm a preschool teacher, so I love giving my kids plenty of things to create with art. We've done art projects with food, sensory items such as sand or cotton balls. We've even done things with the sun helping us in our art, making shadow pictures. So today everyone is going to create art with a technique called tape, paint, and pull. We don't have time for paint, so we're coloring.
Thank you for this meal. We ask you, O Lord, may it edify the mind and nourish the body. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
provider, Jehovah Nissi, Lord, you reign in victory, Jehovah Jireh, my Prince of Peace. Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Jehovah Jireh, my provider, Jehovah Nissi, Lord, you reign in victory, Jehovah Jireh, my Prince of Peace. Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Lord, I worship you because of who you are.
So created me a clean heart and renew the right spirit within me. Lord, wash me with hyssop and I shall be clean. Purge me from all of my iniquities and I shall be clean. 'Cause your return is full of people without spot or wrinkle. Lord, I want to be, teach me to be faultless. Lord, since I opened my eyes, I realized I've got oh so far to go. So this is my earnest prayer, Lord. Cleanse me from all of my unrighteousness, and I shall be clean, 'cause your return is full of people without spot or wrinkle. Lord, I want to be, teach me to be faultless.
Turn on the left. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Stop. Face down. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. You got them closed? I tell you to do it. Do it.
Do what?
Close your eyes. Fall. Fall back up. Close your eyes. Don't move. Alice.
I will drop him. Go ahead.
Nope. You're ready for it. I want you to be ready. I want you to stand. I want you to stand there for a minute. Fall. Fall. Ladies and gentlemen, that is faith. Being able to turn your back on the world and take it easy.